people? It's your Usmaan back again with another Manchester United podcast. It's been a while, but we are back. As always, make sure you get comments in, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let me introduce our guest for today's show, the man himself, the leader of the resistance, Vibes FC. Elite KJ, what you saying, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Literally every time I come on people's shows and I hear Leader of the Resistance and Captain of Vibes FC, my head goes, fam. I love it, man. Love it. Thank you for having me on again.
Absolute pleasure, man. Thank you for coming back on. And as he's just reminding me, I didn't realize how long it's been. The homie, you guys know me and Hader go back from when we first started our channels. Listen, the hashtag the masterclass, EFS media, the homie, man. Hader, absolute pleasure, man. How are you doing?
Mate, it's good to be back. Been a long time, like I said, 3 months, I think, or something like that. But yeah, mate, always a pleasure, and I can't wait to chat United with you again.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Listen, he's just told me that the last time we spoke, we was talking about Pochettino on the podcast, which, to be fair, there is, still, oh, well, of course, not now, because he's gone. But there's still a lot of people not giving credit to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. To be fair, we probably can start there, really, in the sense of a lot of people still Ole out, a lot of people still Ole in. KG, like, I feel like I kind of know your opinion anyways, but what are your thoughts currently? We're on a good run of form. Do you think Ollie's getting enough credit for what he's doing, or do you think it's, as you would say as well, it's Vibes FC, freestyle football?
When I say Vibes FC, it's more to do with the fact that the way the club is ran, I don't think it's ran well enough
absolutely.
to become the best team in England. I feel like I've got big issues. I'll big up Neeks and that. I have big issues with how the club is ran. So for me, it's like, okay, I'll be Vibes FC because I can't expect the team to be growing and getting the club getting bigger and better because of people who run it. So it's nothing actually really to do with Ole, to be fair. But in terms of Ole himself, you know what? Yeah, I've had my doubts, and I've been like, you know what? I've now accepted Ole for what he is. He ain't a Klopp. He ain't a Pep. He ain't these great managers, but we should be judging him in what he's doing, and he's doing this well. He's doing good. He's doing well, and for me, it's like, give him his props. He deserves his props right now.
Yeah, we did. To be honest, obviously, I'll touch on the second, but I got to just put this comment in because I know he's taking the piss. Would you take El Neni at United? What kind of question is that, Harris? Harris, relax, man. You relax.
Nah, that's a no for me. But yeah, he deserves his props. He's doing well, and for me, Ole and the team need to keep passing the mentality tests. Where Sheffield United was one where they needed to get over the line to take advantage of drop points. We did that. Leicester was a test, but I say that's like a C moment where like we almost got there, but we didn't lose, so that's still not as bad as it could have been. And then yesterday, winning ugly is another test that we need to do to push on. And I can only be happy and satisfied where we are right now. Will we go on and win the title like some people are hoping and believing for? I personally don't think so. But am I enjoying the ride right now? Hell yeah, baby. Vibes FC up in the building and that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, that's what it's all about. But as Bob was saying, buckling is gonna be a roller coaster. Just to get a couple of comments in here, James said it's like an old for United school reunion.
we don't talk about that anymore. We don't talk about that.
I had to put it on because I don't want people to think I'm salty because I'm really not. But listen, let's just get your thoughts on that. Obviously, KG said he deserves credit where it's due. Again, we're all very opinion Man United fans. Everyone was going to say, oh, he flip-flopping, etc. But listen, how do you feel regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment?
I got to echo what KJ said. Look, at the end of the day, you can like a different manager. That's fine. There's no problem with that. But the problem is that when people like a certain manager, and United are doing well right now, they can't give the credit. And that's the problem. Like, you've got one side that can't give the credit, the other side that they wait for Ole to win a game, and then they're like, where's Ole out? Just enjoy the victory. That's my biggest problem. So I say, you know this, Usmaan. We know each other for a while now. Pochettino is the only manager I wanted at Man United. But as it stands, United made probably the right decision. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has the best record since we've lost against Spurs, 6-1. He's turned it around. He's showing things that, we want to see from United. So you can't turn around and say he's got to get sacked. So, mate, honestly, I'm just getting behind the team. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I'll critique when I critique. I'll like praise when I praise, and that's where it should be.
Absolutely.
If someone's Ollie out and they change to Ollie in, that's fine as well. People can change.
Oh,
their mind.
hey, you sound like Vibes FC. You sound like come on. I can sign you on the paper,
join the
bro.
team.
Yeah, you join the team, bro.
It's got to be a good contract, though. You got to be a good contract.
Don't worry about that. My owners and my agents will sort that out for you, man. We don't have Woodward at my club. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, mate. I just want to direct a football, mate, and then I'm happy. That's all I'm saying. But now, look, at the end of the day, Usmaan, you know this. Like, the problem is that some people just like they put their, they put their opinion and then they just can't change it. Like, I will change my opinion at the end of the day. I want to Pochettino. He's gone now. That's it. Fine. Whatever. I hope he does well. And he's a great manager. But I'm all in on this. I want to see United win week in, week out. I don't have an agenda. If United lose, I hate that. If United win, I love it. And that's it. That's how it should be. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves more respect because he's not a PE teacher. And that's just unfair. But again, he's not a top level coach. And we know that. But what he's doing at the moment, he's doing better than Arteta. He's doing better than Lampard. But these are managers that get a lot of praise. Bielsa's someone that everyone raves about. He just got smacked.
Well, he got
6 goals.
6-2, and apparently he's getting more credit than us.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, look, I'm really happy.
They're out there beefing pundits and that online. That's what them man out doing.
Yeah.
Man. Scum team, Leeds.
Mate.
Listen, just to touch on what you said regarding, you can change your mind. Look, this is something that I'm getting blasted for. Look, if you follow my content, you know I'm Martial FC, as people brand me as. So I'm a huge fan of Martial, but now that I'm criticizing him because he's not on job, people are saying I'm flip-flopping. I still love the guy. I still want him to do well. And the amount of people that texted me after Martial's missed when Pogba laid off to him, expect him to put it into top bins. Look, don't get me wrong, he's completely messed the shot up. He's put it into Rose Ed, whatever you want to call it. But people are texting me like, oh, look, Usmaan, your boy, he's missed it. Like, listen, Martial, if he's not on job, Cavani should be starting. I don't give a shit who starts. I had Liverpool fans saying, oh, well, Martial's got to start saying this or this. I don't give a shit about Martial. I don't give a shit about Rashford. I don't give a shit about Pogba. All I care is about Man United winning the game. That's all I care about.
But that's, mate, people support the players over the club. Exactly. That's the problem.
These guys are not going to be in 10 years. Like, you could say, obviously, Rashford will be, because he's a Man United fan through and through. You can tell that by the way he talks about the club. So he will be even when he retires as a fan. But all the other players that we got, a lot of other players we got, they don't give a shit about the club the way we care about the club. The only thing that should matter to me is the results on the pitch and the performances. That's the only thing I care about.
I've got United shirts behind me there. You got one white one and they've got a red one behind me there. They've got my last name on the back. You know why? People ask me, oh, why do you get your name and not a player's? I'm like, because players leave United.
Exactly.
I would never leave United, bro.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I love that, man.
I would never leave United. That's why I say, yo, players on the back is cool and that, but when they upset you, you want to go burn it, fam. So I ain't about that, fam. You know what I'm saying? Support the team, support the guys, and just any chance you get, call Woodward a Wallad and screw the pagans.
Listen, no one likes the Glazers and Woodward. I'm not hearing anything positive about them. I don't care what anyone says. But listen, let's just quickly get these comments in. AK saying, listen, we're going to talk about transfers shortly in the show, as I've already mentioned. Max Aarons is someone that's been linked heavily to ourselves. I don't even know the lad's name. I don't know if to pronounce the lad's name. Hayder can give us information. If you haven't checked out Hayder's video on that, he did a player profile with
check it out
within that region. Trust me, that is a fantastic video. I was about to speak street there, but I had to keep it professional there. But listen, it's a fantastic video. Listen, trust me, you'll like that one.
It's only half an hour, lad. You won't get too bored.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's all good. It's all good. Let's just get this comment in here. And KJ will come to you. I don't know why I'm saying KG. I don't know why. KJ. Someone's going to correct me in the chat before, it is what it is. Is Ollie winning over United fans and have you seen improvements in the last few games? KJ, what are your thoughts on that?
The open-minded United fans, he's starting to slowly win over. There's a section of the fan base, like Hayder said, that don't matter what he does, they just don't rate him and don't like him, and it's what it is. So he's never going to win those over. But the open-minded fans, which is most people, he's slowly starting to win them over. And I think more for us, it's like the way he's doing it is not traditional in the way of we're playing the most pretty football and the way that we play is just like in awe. It's more of he's getting these players to fight. You know what I mean? He's getting these players to work hard and play their part where they need to. And that's also impressive in itself. So in that sense, I feel like he's winning people over. And let me just go back to the question as well in terms of what he asked. And have I seen improvements? Yeah, I've seen good improvements, and the improvements I'm looking for in our team isn't necessarily to do with patterns of play right now. It's nothing to do with who's the best footballer with the ball at the feet. Right now, it's about up here. It's about mentally. How are they performing? Are they crumbling? Crumbling when it comes to clutch moments? Are they feeling the pressure when people are starting to put pressure on them to perform? And right now, they're overcoming that and they're performing well. So yes, I do see improvements, and especially in the mentality, which I'm really focusing on now.
Yeah, no, this is the thing that I said. It's so funny. I was speaking to my brother who does all my thumbnails and stuff. And, the Leicester game, it was the game for me that really pissed me off for numerous reasons. And Liverpool let us off the hook, dropping points afterwards. So kind of cancelled out. But, of course, we scored the 80th minute. Bruno Fernandes scores. Brother's like, what's the thumbnail? What's the title? What have you got an idea what you want? I mean, look, let's just see what happens at the end of the game. But as I'm thinking at the moment, so we're 2-1 up at the time. And I'm thinking, look, we've dug in deeper, we've got the win. One of them was like that kind of vibe sort of thing. And then we can see Jamie Vardy scores, and I'm like, fuck's sake, just wrap up that thumbnail, just get rid of it. And so it's 2 points dropped. So this is what I mean with the mentality thing for me. A lot of the times when we've been in a situation that we need to overcome a test, look, the Wolves game, it wasn't pretty. We know that. I don't think any was going to sit you on, be waxing lyrical about the performance. But that is, I was saying in a joking way, because obviously we're not champions, or as this sort of title race thing, we're kind of saying in a flipping comment. But I said after the sort of game was that that's what champions do. You win games and you play dog shit and you score in the last minute. What we used to do that under Fergie. I think people have this sort of romanticized sort of thought process regarding Fergie that we played fantastic football every single game. We was ripping teams up. Of course, don't get me wrong, we did. But it wasn't every single game. We dug in so many games, especially at the back end of the season. We used to get those 1-0s. And I hate it. Just coming to you, obviously, the previous question was, has Ollie won you over? And the second part is that win itself, do you feel that could be a turning point, even more so than some of the other wins we've had?
Mate, it's huge, because how many times have United had those sort of performances? I mean, the intensity was poor last night, and you can't blame the players, because when you're playing this packed Christmas schedule, they played 3 games in 9 days or even less than that. So they're going to be playing against Villa.
It was 3 games in 6 days, actually.
6 days, yeah, exactly. So look, I don't blame them. And look, at the end of the day, there's always some people that want a different manager, and that's fine. But when you're looking at it the way it is, United are sitting in a title race. I'm not going to say yet, but looking at the table now, we're in second going into the new year with a game in hand. If you'd said to me at the beginning of the season, United are going to finish 15 points behind the champions, I'd have taken that at the end of the season, because that's progress. That's the reality of where we are at the moment. Absolutely. We all want to be where United were in Fergie's days, but that's not where we are at the moment. It's still a bit of a rebuilding process. But what he's impressed me with, as KJ was saying, was that it's the players are playing for him, whatever you say, and he's not the best tactician. We know that. He hasn't got a set philosophy, and that's something that I like to see from the teams that I watch. Like, I look over at Liverpool and Man City, the 2 teams that we hate the most. Even you got to look at some of the other sides, and they play. There's that strict identity. You know exactly how they're going to play. Liverpool are going to have fullbacks that dart forward. Salah and Mane are going to make those out-in runs. Firmino will drop. That midfield is going to work hard. That's great. But Man United don't play like that. They don't have a set philosophy. What Ollie does do well is he tinkers. He's able to say, look, we're going to go and play Leipzig, we'll play a diamond. Then we're going to play PSG, we'll play 3 at the back. That's a skill in itself, being able to tinker and have 2 or 3 different systems. The problem for United this season, leading up to probably a month ago, is that we didn't really know what Ollie's set style or set formation was. He stayed with 4-2-3-1. And since we've done that, the players have acclimatized to the system. They've started playing with more understanding of the roles. And that's what I'm happy with, is the fact that he started to stick with that 4-2-3-1. He said, right, go forward and play. Is he going to win the title? I don't know. It's too soon. Probably not. I don't think we've got enough. Don't think we've got enough quality at centre-back or defensive midfielder. But for now, mate, look, you can't turn around and say, go and sack him tomorrow, because it's not fair. It's a results-based industry. He's got the best record, and I hate this table, but I'm going to bring it up. From January last year now. The best record. So that's facts at the end of the day. And I'm someone that hates these imaginary tables, but that's facts. You can't turn around and say United haven't. Should United be playing better football with more patterns and more identity with those players? Yes, that's what I think. You've got Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, you've got Martial, you've got Rashford, you've got Greenwood, Cavani, you've got Van Beek, you've got all these fantastic players. So United should be playing a better brand of football, but we should be playing on counter all the time, but it's working. So let's see what he can do. Give him some money in January and say, look, go and get him a centre back, maybe. Go and get him another right back who can progress forward better with the ball. And go and find a defensive midfielder or go and back him in the summer. But for right now, where we are at and what he's done, you've got to give him credit. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I do think in terms of that imaginary table, look, I've seen that start being banded about a lot. And to be fair, you've got to give credit, like you mentioned, that I think for me personally, where I stand with the whole situation is, you know, in the past, I've kind of leaped onto the Ollie's at the wheel, you know, man was singing it from the rooftops and shit. When things were going good, but I'm kind of reserving judgment because I know it's a long season. This time last year, we weren't even in contention to get top 4 and we ended up third. You know, things can, you know, we could be a Bruno injury. We don't know. Bruno injury away from being an absolute catastrophe again, like we were last season prior to his arrival. So I'm going to reserve judgment to the end of the season regarding Ollie. But as you guys have already mentioned, you got to give credit where it's due, man. At the end of the day, he's on job. You know, if he does something ridiculously wrong, I will criticize him. For the Wolves game, I've got to be honest, right? I was really pissed off with him. I know we got the win, which is the most important thing, but I wasn't happy regarding the manner in which we approached the game. I thought we were very laboured in the manner in which we moved the ball around. Pogba for me is too deep. I'm literally going to end up breaking my TV if I see him on the whole.
I disagree, mate. I think his best position, he's got to play. Look, Bruno Fernandes at the moment, right now, is there a better attacking midfielder on number 10 in the world? Probably not. What he gives to United off the ball is huge. The way he presses, the way he leads the counter press, he's the best at it. For me, when you look at Paul Pogba, look, yes, we'd like to see him a bit further forward, but having someone you can play and has that vision, playing that far deep, is huge for United. Someone that can carry the ball as well is massive. I think at the end of the day, Pogba, for me, isn't as much of the problem. It's who's playing next to him that's the problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do agree with the person next to him being the issue. But what I'm saying is, I just think he's too deep to impact the game. Yeah, he can dictate the play from deep as a quarterback, but he's more than just a quarterback for me. You saw in the last 20 minutes of the game, and like KG will get your thoughts on this. Pogba had the license to go forward. I'm not saying he should be going forward every attack. But why is McTominay getting the license? Why is McTominay allowed to get into the box against Leeds? Fair play to fantastic 2 goals, but Pogba hasn't got that same freedom. That's why I get upset, because I know Pogba's capable of doing what McTominay's done. Of course he is, to get further up. You saw in the last 25 minutes of that game, Ollie must have got desperate and thought, no, listen, we're going to have to let Pogba go forward. And okay, granted, we didn't rip him open, but we were starting to knock on the door. You could see that things were happening. Pogba almost scored. He played a couple of balls through. We were making runs into the box. We were playing triangles at the edge of the box. And that was down to the fact that it was difficult for them to deal with Pogba and Bruno as an option. You used to see with Man City, and I use this example all the time because I think it's the best example. De Bruyne is struggling at the moment, and people are completely disregarded the fact that it's because David Silva's not there. The reason De Bruyne has not become a shit player overnight is because it's easy to mark him now. He's the only person there with quality. You're a manager in the opposite team. Mark De Bruyne. Prior, you got shit. I need to mark Silva as well. I don't know. You're gonna have to go 1 each. You can't mark 2. You can't go 2 for 1 on Silva because then you got De Bruyne in space, and that's the problem at the moment in these kind of games where a team is sitting back. I don't see why Pogba should be that deep when we're playing against a better team that can attack us, like an Everton or I don't know, obviously or any of the bigger teams, so to speak. Then it's understandable to have Pogba more reserved. But when we're playing against a team like Wolves, who literally had everyone behind the ball, Pogba has to have license to join the attack because otherwise it's too predictable and it's too easy to mark us at the game, as you saw for majority of that game. Like, KJ, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm on the same case of Paul Pogba was that good that the fact that we have the choice to say today you're playing a quarterback role or today you're being more advanced is beautiful. I think what we need to start seeing more of from Ollie and Paul Pogba himself, he's not exempt from this. Is knowing when is the time to be doing that the forward part and when is the time to be doing the long balls and like a quarterback, because throughout that game the long balls weren't working. The long balls weren't working and you could see it weren't working. And I was like, right, Ollie or Pogba, which one Mainly, I want it from Ollie because he's the manager, and you want the guy to lead from the sideline. Tell PP, go forward, play shorter balls, and take more long shots instead of long passes. And that's what we saw. We saw that nice little inside ball from Bruno from the left into Pogba on the right, took a shot. And
yes.
I said this on the
Good
football
shot.
terrace. That shot gave us the impetus to be like, right, we can actually go at these men.
Yeah.
And it helped us go forward. And Paul Pogba wasn't the driving force in the sense of he picked up the ball, he was doing it, this, that, and the third. But that shot there showed that they were actually vulnerable, that they weren't impenetrable, that you could get at them. So we need to start seeing more from the team tactically when it's time to use quarterback Pogba and advanced Pogba. And once we start doing that, listen, teams should be shook. I would love to see us play 4-3-3, but we don't have a single. We don't have a DM. You can play a single pivot. Problem. We don't have a single pivot DM, so we can't do that right now. So the closest thing we've got is playing a double pivot and choosing when Paul Pogba can get forward and when not. When we do that, as I said, when we do that, we have got problems for some people, bruv. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I'm saying. The squad is good enough, really. We just need a couple of players here.
Usmaan, just to add something to that, the reason why yesterday, you have to remember as well, United not signing a right winger is huge. Because what you saw yesterday, United are very one-sided side. We know that. Every time you look at the statistics in the game, United will have more than 50% of their attacks down the left-hand side. We all know that. So yesterday, what you saw is when you play a team playing a low block, you need to have, there's two ways. You either play through the middle and you play quick passes. We don't do that. You play with width. Or when you don't have a right side, because we're going to talk about Wan-Bissaka, but Wan-Bissaka struggles a little bit, I think, on the ball. And Mason likes to come inside because he's a centre forward. He's not a right winger. So what you saw actually is that United were predictable. Now, when Rashford went out to the right, that dragged Wolves out back to the right to focus on Rashford. That opened up some pockets of space for Pogba. Because Pogba, usually he operating, like you said, a little bit deeper, but he started picking up the pockets of space. And United looked at that side. So I think a DM is important. We all know that. But even a little tweak like putting on the right, Barney up top, having proper width, less disjointed. What you saw is actually then a lot more space for Pogba to pick up. So little things like that, Ollie can do to mask over. But United not signing right winger was massive.
And another little thing as well is Paul Pogba plays his best football from the left-hand side of the midfield.
Yeah.
And Ollie's not the first time Ollie's done this. Because he knows Aaron Wan-Bissaka's deficiencies, he plays Paul Pogba on the right-hand side of the midfield. And that, I'm not saying Paul Pogba's not good enough to play on the right-hand side, but that, again, impacts his game that ever so slightly that you're able to nullify what he's doing. Because he's not playing in the spaces that he normally picks up in. Yeah. Paul Pogba on that left-hand side of midfield with Martial playing is beautiful.
Connection, man.
Yeah. It's beautiful 100%. To watch. And what happens is, because they're doing that on the left, if you have someone who is capable on the right-hand side, you could have Martial and Pogba do what they're doing, and Pogba take a nice switch quick of play to the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And that's actually in spaces.
How many times do you do that, KJ? We never do that, man. We never do the switches ever.
Yeah, these quick switches. And why? Because as much as I love Aaron, and he's great at what he does, look at Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. I saw him trying to do flick over someone's head twice, and it was the most awkward looking. I love him. He was so funny to watch. I'm just like, that's not you, bro. That ain't you, fam. You're not kind of footballer, bro.
I was like, you know what? Fair play to him. He's tried,
He's trying it, bro. He's trying it. That's why we need it. This is where we need to look towards the board and the recruitment team. And in January, I'm not saying get all of them because it's very hard to get all of them.
Absolutely.
But get one of the key 3 positions we need, which is right wing, DM, centre back. Get one of those 3 key positions, and we're looking good. Mainly DM or right wing. Yeah. And you know what? With a cheeky Max Aarons as well, like we're saying.
Listen, let's discuss that because you've led me on nicely to, of course, what was the next topic. Jamie's put quite a few good questions in here, so I'm just going to put them to the forefront. First and foremost, they're talking about Diallo in the chat, but obviously, being the right winger, but of course, as we know, he's a young lad, so I'm not...
Come on! No, I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm on the gas time. Vormi and Messi. Let's go, baby! I'm so gassed.
Oh, God. But yeah, let's there we go. Right, regarding CDM, I've got 3 names for you boys, okay? So, of course, I tweeted not last night, the night before last night on Ruben Neves' watch. So that's one option. I'm not saying
class,
I'm not saying we can get him in January, but I'm just throwing names out. By all means, add someone to that list. Bissouma, that I think we can potentially get in January. Jamie's mentioned his name a few times. Jamie Gretton, that is. And also Ndidi. If anyone knows me, knows I want Ndidi. That's my guy. But listen, I'm going to pass it to you. Like, obviously, if there's somebody else that you want to mention, by all means, it's quite evident. We need a CDM. Look, I know we're talking about title race. And to be fair, the way I see it, right, banter aside, Bruno Fernandes came in January, right? We all know the impact he had. He was a catalyst for great things. I'm not saying we're going to sign someone with the sort of status of Bruno Fernandes to have the impact that Bruno Fernandes has to, spur us on to the end of the season. But what I'm saying is, it just indicates the importance of one signing. One player can make all the difference. And I genuinely believe, I know you said the right winger there, but CDM for me is that position. If we can sign a CDM in this, I don't care how much money we pay for, I don't care if we overpay, I couldn't give a shit. This could genuinely make the difference of Usmaan to the title race. I'm not even taking the piss here, I'm being serious. So, Hayden, like for you, who do you think that CDM could potentially be, if anyone? Like,
some good options. Let's go through them. Ndidi, brilliant ball destroyer, but we know Leicester are going to fleece us, so there's no point going there. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to look. They already sold us 80 million for Maguire. They're going to want something similar.
Well, every penny.
Our pants are already down with them. Just one more time.
Exactly.
One more time is fine. One more time is fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he'll be a good player. No, Maguire's all right. I'm not the biggest fan.
They can give us Pereira as well, right back.
Yeah, I think United should have gone for Pereira. When he was at Nice, I was thinking this guy's a good player. Nice had a good season, and I just don't know why United. Look, I like Wan-Bissaka. We'll talk about him later. We're going to Bissouma. Bissouma is fantastic, mate. I'm a massive fan of him. But again, can he play in the holding position? He's much more comfortable playing where Pogba plays, so that's something to consider. I think he could probably play there, but you don't want square pegs and round holes. What was the other one? Neves, I'm a massive fan, but again, is he someone who's going to be good enough defensively? Is he going to cover those two behind him? Probably not. But if you're going to get rid of Pogba, which looks like it's going to happen, then Neves should come in. And then the person that should be our defensive midfielder is Dennis Zakaria from Gladbach. He's an absolutely brilliant player. If you actually look at him, look, let's talk physicality first. He's about 6'3", big lad. So physicality wise, that's important. He's going to be playing in that role. He's been likened to Patrick Vieira. People talk about that. Obviously the next Messi, but the big thing about him is he's strong in the duels. He's strong in the tackle. That's important. And he's a fantastic passer of the ball. He plays for Marco Rose's side. They play great football. He is the one that starts the attacks. So that's who I would go for. The thing is, though, is United need a defensive midfielder, but I don't want them to go out and just go and get anyone. If you can buy a player, buy the right one. That's really important because money is tight as well. Let's be honest. We've got 110 million off our revenue with no fans coming in. So we've got to be a little bit smart here. I've seen Jamie saying Caicedo. Caicedo is very, very talented. He could play in that role as well. He's young. Exactly.
He needs to learn English before he starts playing for the United.
To be fair, Pogba probably speaks whatever language that he speaks.
Yeah, man, he's clever.
Pogba speaks everything, man.
I don't think he does, though. That's the problem.
Keeping up with the Bundesliga, the Bundesliga theme, I think an Austrian beast ain't Konrad Laimer.
Alaba. Oh, good shout.
Yeah, see, Alaba, I rate, but I don't think we're gonna get Alaba. That smells like Juve. That smells like Juve all over. That's a Juve. Yeah. But I believe Konrad Laimer would be a very good, smart purchase. He plays for Red Bull Leipzig. He is part of that Nagelsmann team where high intensity or high pressing. He doesn't stop. He's got the energy and the work rate to do what he needs to do, and he's good in the tackle and he's got a good pass on him. That's what we need from the DM that I'm looking for. He's basically a better version of Fred. You know what I'm saying? Personally,
is there a case Fred can play there, though? Do you think, or do you think that ship is sailed?
No, he's a secondary box to box midfielder. You know what I mean? I believe if we played 4-3-3 like we did when Oli first came in, and he was Ander Herrera, cool. I have no problem with Fred. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that we don't double pivot and we want him to be the lone. Fred, Lone DM. Oh, listen, my man gets caught on the ball so much, man. I love Pastor Frederick because he's a pastor and that. You know what I mean? He's a great guy. But like when Troy Deeney of Watford, fam, are saying we targeted him when he's on the ball, is peak. So, as much as I love Fred, I don't think the lone DM role is good for him. But when we get in box to box, when we get a DM and we can play in box to box.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that in terms of Fred. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see him at least try it, but it kind of gives me nightmares from Fred and Pereira days. I don't even remember that double pivot. Oh my god!
It's his touch and his passing, man. That's the problem.
Last year, by the way, but just to put into context how far we've come in a year, I think people forget that in football. You know how, and me included as well. We get so caught in each game, and you actually look back at this time last year, we were playing Fred and Pereira in the double pivot with Lingard on the right wing. So, and I think Dan James is on the left wing as well. Like, do you know what I mean? With Martial up top because Rashford was injured.
Ashley Young left back.
It's actually mad how far we've come in a year. Even though
I forgot that Ashley Young started that season. I genuinely forgot he played in that season.
And then obviously he forced the move in January. What a legend! But let's talk about Max Aarons. A lot of people discussing him in the chat. Again, Jamie's mentioned him as well. I kind of already see what you said, Hader. I'm just gonna throw this out here, and I'm gonna let you obviously give your thoughts on it. I rate him. Don't get me wrong, but I want Lamptey. That's the guy that I want. If we're getting a right back to challenge Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'm all for that. Competition is vital at Manchester United. KJ looks like he's ready to talk. Obviously, Shaw and Tellers have sort of vindicted of that sort of point. But yeah, for me, I would go for Lamptey. I think he offers a lot more going forward. Although Aaron's, again, I'm a fan of his. But yeah, KJ, what do you reckon?
I'm going to ask before I get into my opinion, why Lamptey? Because my question is this for people. Is it just recency bias that we're now saying Lamptey's the one, Lamptey's the guy? Because I feel like as football fans, we all do it. We see this shiny new, he's a new player. Person to see, he's young, he's quick. Oh, yeah, let's get him. And don't allow them
That's the reason. I think I've seen enough of him to know that he's got quality going forward in particular. I think defensively that most of these fullbacks in this day and age aren't brilliant. You see with Trent, obviously everyone keeps going on about Trent's shocking defensively, but brilliant. I'm not saying Lamptey's at the ilk of that, but from what I've seen of Lamptey in the Premier League, because I watch a lot of Brighton here and there, he's been fantastic every time I've seen him. The guy's had an impact every single game. Here's
what I say about Lamptey. Where this is not me dissing him because I think he's fantastic too.
Yeah, fair.
I'm big on clubs doing due diligence and analysing their players correctly. Lamptey, if you look at where he's accelerating and where he's great at, is driving forward the ball from a counter-attacking position. On the counter-attack, Lamptey is amazing. Have we seen much of him where they're dominating the ball?
That's a fair point.
Against the low block, and he has to play 1-2s. He has to get on the byline and keep the ball. Have we seen that much from him? Now, the reason why I think not at Max Aarons would be better, but at Max Aarons is a good option, is because I know in the Championship, that's what they do. Norwich are on the front foot. Norwich are the ones holding the position, holding the ball, using the fullbacks for width and getting him forward and in behind. That is, in terms of advantage, I think that's an advantage that he can have against Lamptey. And then also, like my brother said here, I'm on the Ethan Laird train, bro.
I hear that. I still think he needs a loan, though, for me personally.
Yeah, he does need a loan.
A lot of injuries, mate. He's after Greenwood, he's the one, isn't he? After Greenwood, where you're like, that's the talent coming in. The problem with the fan base, and this is general, I'm not having to go at anyone, but we like to big up the youth. Every club does it. Oh, this guy, this is the next class United. That's not really how it works. People say, Ghana and other things like that. We've got to be realistic. Greenwood's special, and I think the only other one who I can generally say, Medjbury's another one who looks really good. Quigley looks good. But when it comes to Led, if it weren't for his injuries, he'd be probably playing right now in the first team. He'd probably have Wan-Bissaka's spot. That's how highly rated he is. But the problem is that when you've had that many injuries and the soft tissue injuries as well, so you've got to be a bit careful. So early in his career, what you've got to do now, I think United will be a bit smart and go, right, Aarons, we want you, take Laird on loan.
Yeah, 2 years.
We'll pay, 2 years. 15, 20 minutes. We need to utilize the loan system. At the end of the day, the problem with United fans, and this is what I tweeted just before, Usmaan, you've seen it, is that Fans' favorites, fine. I personally do that because I think that when you do that, you can't change your opinion. Like, I just don't understand it. But the problem is that it's a squad game. United haven't had a squad for many years. Last night was perfect for someone like Aaron, someone who can progress the ball, someone that can provide width, someone that can cross. Wan-Bissaka couldn't provide anything, but we played Villa and we got Grealish playing. So then you play Wan-Bissaka. You got to have these different options in the squad so you have a different dimension. And that's how United will go to the next level. Problem is fans say, oh, well, he's a good defender. So why do we... The first thing for a defense to defend? Well, no, this is a modern game now. A fullback has to attack. It's the reality of it. You go forward and backwards.
Well,
is Aaron's the best defender? Not really.
We don't play with wingers as well here. I think people need to consider the fact that we're playing with forwards. We don't play with any wingers. We haven't got a winger at the club. I think
there's no such thing as a modern day winger anymore.
Yeah, Dan James is the only thing close to a winger that we've got at the club at the moment, and you can't even make a case for anyone else. In terms of the fullbacks, that was the reason we signed Tellers. We needed someone from wide areas to provide quality with his delivery. Tellers obviously got substitute for Luke Shaw, and Luke Shaw provided that, and that's down to the competition, as you said on your tweets. Like, for me personally, as Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself, who was sometimes a fourth choice, he knows better than anyone. That was the thing that made him hungry to play. And if you don't have competition in the team, you get performances how we've seen in the past. Like, for example, Martial now knows he needs to do well when he comes on and he needs to have impact. Otherwise, Cavani's need to take his place. And I think people can say, oh, Martial's getting displaced by Cavani, but it's not even about that. That should motivate that person to elevate their game. And if it doesn't motivate Martial to elevate his game and he starts sulking, then get the fuck out of the club. Because that's how I see it.
And you know what, on that point with Martial, I don't necessarily think it's sulking per se.
Oh, I'm not saying he is.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying you're saying he's sulking. I'm saying people will love to say that because they love bagging on Martial. Yeah. I think with someone like Martial, and it's just his disposition, and it just happens to be what it is. He just likes being the guy. You know what I mean? Some players with competition, they're like, oh man, like, don't you believe in me? You know what I mean? And they use that to like kind of put a play in their mind. When Martial's got no competition, when he was last season, no competition, he's the guy. Man was bagging goals. We bring in Cavani now, and he's had a tough season. Has it affected his confidence? Why has it affected his confidence? And these are things we're going to look into.
That's weak mentality, though.
And if Martial, for whatever reason, cannot take having competition to make him better, then as much as I love him, you've got to go, because this ain't the place for that. Absolutely. This is Manchester United. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go do that, 100%. Go do Memphis, go to Lyon, where you can be the guy. Go to those clubs where they need you to be. If that's what you want, you know what I mean? Yeah, if that's what you want, go do that. And I'll be happy for you and I will support you furthermore because you're an ex-United player. Yeah. But here, in this Man United, you have to be switched on and you have to be wanting to be better than you are, and competition shouldn't mean nothing to you.
The problem is, is that the fans, Usmaan, the fans have also fallen into that trap as well, because people say, oh, we've got Cavani and what's going to happen with Greenwood? The cream rises to the top, doesn't it? So at the end of the day, the fans also don't have the mentality anymore. Maybe because we've had years of not having a success, but the fans also, under Fergie, people say, oh, we had two players in each position.
Look at Bayern Munich, look at Real Madrid, look at Barcelona.
Look at United 07-08. Man had Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo, and on the bench, Nani. We had Nani and Berbatov on the bench, bruv. Those two would have started for most Premier League teams at the time.
100%.
Why can't we? Why aren't we allowed that again? You know, when we brought Danny Van der Beek into the club, it was like, why have you bought him? Wasted signing, wasting money, panic. But I'm like, listen. As much as I question how we got into the club and why can't we have quality players?
100%.
Yeah.
You see with Man City as well. Everyone was praising Man City. Oh, look at their squad. Look, they had Mahrez, Sane, Sterling. Sane's eventually left for lack of.
Mate, they've got about 400 centre backs, so no one says anything.
Exactly. They've got Aki as well. 40 million. No one's even mentioned the fact that he's barely
40 M's.
40 M's. He's barely played it. Like, he's played like a couple of games, and no one mentions it. Like, when it's Manchester United, it's breaking news. This is the problem, right? with the Van der Beek situation, again, all this hashtag free Donny, I don't think the fans and the media know what they're doing, but the fans, you're putting unnecessary pressure on individuals. Like, if he's on social media, in his head, he's going to be thinking, shit, like, I should be playing the right. Like, he's probably coming here expecting not to play. Like, I'm trying to think who it was. Dan James, when we signed Dan James last season, when they interviewed him towards the end of the season, he asked him, oh, how have you found it? Obviously, we know towards the end of the season he struggled a lot. He said, I'll be honest with you guys, I wasn't expecting to come and play this many games. And Van der Beek's probably the same mindset. Don't get me wrong.
And that's on the board, mate. That isn't on Dan James.
Exactly,
that's what KJ was saying at the beginning. Mismanagement.
Exactly, yeah, exactly, 100%. But I'm saying Van der Beek, he shouldn't be coming in here expecting to play every game. He should be looking at the team saying, I've got Pogba and Bruno to fight my position.
He has said this, but fans don't want to listen to it when players are being honest. When the players are honest, yeah, when it's not what you want to hear, fans will just ignore it and be like, free Donny, free Donny. You do understand that now with this free Donny business, he has to perform every time he comes on the
unnecessary pressure on him. That's
unnecessary pressure.
It becomes agendas. That's what I'm saying.
Like, did you see after the Everton game?
No,
yeah, after the Everton game, he didn't have a good game. And the problem is, as everyone says, Donny van der Beek is very talented and by all accounts got a great attitude. He's from Ajax, he's a clever lad, he's got good IQ. He's going to go far. But right now, for me, he's a number 10. We all know he can play a bit deeper, but this is a Premier League. This isn't Eredivisie. Premier League is much more intense, much more difficult to play in. It's going to take time to bed in. We look at Fred, came over from Shakhtar. He struggled for a year, looked like one of the worst signings we'd ever made. Give it a year, he's adapted. At the end of the day, Van der Beek's not going to displace Bruno. So when he does play, he's got to go and play a bit deeper. Now, are you going to pick him over Pogba? No. He can't play in the holding position, so you're not going to pick him over McTominay, Fred,
Pogba's not
or Matic.
Week out himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Week in, week out.
Right now, Van der Beek is probably the last choice midfielder. Unfortunately, not that that's his ability, but fans need to understand as well that it's going to take a little bit of time. And at the end of the day, if he's working hard, he's obviously disappointed. If he wasn't disappointed, I'll be a bit like, whoa, okay, mate, you need to care about not playing. He obviously is disappointed, but he'll get his chance. People just need to be patient. But you're right. He plays and expect him to go and drop a 10 out of 10, and it's not going to happen. And then that's more pressure on him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And that's the thing. Like, again, after the Everton game, I guarantee everyone that's been defending Ollie for not playing it would say, well, this is why he's not playing. This is what we don't need that toxicity in the team. Like, you don't see other fans when you probably do here and there. But a lot of the top teams, so to speak, I guarantee you don't hear Bayern Munich fans constantly moaning about some of their players who are sat on the bench. They know it's part of the squad, man. Squad rotation is key to winning titles. But obviously, they are winning mentality. They know where it is. Jamie's saying, I like Kyle Walker-Peters. Decent shout. He's done well since leaving Spurs. Max Aaron's Basuma, Grealish, Upper Makano, Summer Targets. Fuck you know, you're trying to win the quadruple there. What? Elite KJ totally agree with you, brother. And these guys are just talking amongst them. Got a question here. I just want to throw it at you because it's quite an interesting one. Harry Kane, as we all know, you know, he's not. I don't think he's gonna be for sale. But would you sell Martial and buy Kane? I don't know why that's even a question. What the fuck is that question? But KJ, I'll pass it to you first.
It's gonna sound wild, you know.
Oh, don't even.
It's gonna sound very wild. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. The sell Martial part. If by the end of the season he hasn't picked up his levels, we'd have to start talking about it. I'm not against selling Martial. It's not that. It's buying Harry Kane part that I'm a bit like. Is he the kind of striker we wanting it for Man United? Are we playing to Harry Kane's strengths for him to be a success at Manchester United? That's the one thing I would worry about when buying Harry Kane. Plus, his injury record is not great. He's a great player, but he does get injured for quite a while every season. Do we need that right now? That's all our question. Are we right now built to bring in Harry Kane to take us to the top? It's not like we was with Fergie and all we need to do is bang, buy Van Persie, elevated. We're not there yet. We're not at that level. We're not built for Harry Kane, unfortunately. And I think when fans start to accept that, it'll be easier when we say don't buy him. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm looking at other strikers. Even Haaland, I question, are we built for Haaland? Like, are we built for that kind of striker? And And so right now, I would say no. If we get a few players in here and there, and we start to change as a team and develop, then maybe my answer would change again. But right now, I wouldn't bring in. Harry Kane. I don't think he'll fit.
That's it. That's very interesting way to look at. I hear what you're saying in terms, obviously, the system. We probably won't get the best out of it. But for me personally, I don't know what Hayden thinks. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. I'd sell Martial tomorrow. And this is coming from a Martial fanboy. Martial, if we can get 50, I think we should be able to get 50 million from, let's be real. If we get less than that, I'm going to be fuming if he's paid 50 for Wan-Bissaka. But 50, 60 million for him, I don't even know how much years he's got left on his contract. I'm assuming he's still got at least a couple of years left on him. Levy's probably going to sell him for 150 million, let's just say, in a hypothetically speaking. So that's 100 million for him, Harry Kane. And I think in terms of this, in this day and age, 100 million for a player of that ilk who could potentially elevate us to the title comfortably as well. You got to remember he's changed his game a lot this season, and he's the perfect number 9. He's basically built for Manchester United, and not this current Man United. I hear what you're saying in terms of what if it was Fergie, then yeah, Harry Kane definitely would have been Man United striker. But I feel like if he signs someone of that ilk, it could be what when Man City signed Aguero, basically, in terms of elevating us. You sign Harry Kane, other players are like, yo, we need to go to Manchester United. They got Harry Kane, De Bruyne, Harry Kane, Bruno. Obviously, Rashford knows him from England as well. They'll have that chemistry. What's to say? Yeah, Sancho might be interesting coming up. I don't know what fans' thoughts on that. But for me personally, I would 100% do it. I don't know what Hayden thinks.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, but I can definitely see KJ's use because the thing is, if you're talking about Harry Kane, 2-3 years ago, you think no brainer. But the way he's played now, he's adapted his game. He drops deep a lot more now, and you think, is he really the player? Because when Oli wanted Haaland, the reason why he wanted Haaland is because he plays on the last man, and that's what Martial doesn't do. And that's my problem with Martial. He likes drifting to left channel. He doesn't play like a number 9. We've seen a few times when Cavani's played and he's just held his position, played on the last man. His link-up play has been fantastic. I think Martial's got fantastic hold-up play, actually. But he doesn't play like a number 9 for me. And that's my personal problem. But that's my personal preference. And I can see that because at the end of the day, you go and put Martial, let's say, in a Klopp side where Firmino drops, Martial would be fantastic. He likes to carry the ball at feet. That's where he'd be good. The off-the-ball stuff, that's where you probably would say maybe he doesn't do that. But from the way Martial plays, he probably would do the job that Kane's doing at Spurs, where he drops deep and then plays it. Because Martial's a playmaker. For me, he's not a traditional number 9, but it depends what Oli wants. It completely depends on the system. Now, Kane likes to drop deep. Mourinho's playing him more as sort of a weird sort of a 9.5.
False 9. False 9 Harry Kane, like
he's not running as much. He's got a bad injury record, but he's the best striker in the world, and I think you'd be mad to say no. But for me, I still think United need to upgrade in that position. I'm not so high on Martial. He used to be one of my favourite players, but my issue with him is that I don't really... So when he plays on the wing, I quite like him off the left, but he doesn't do the tracking back, so that's a problem. When he plays at number 9, he doesn't play like a traditional number 9. He's too streaky for me. He'll score in bursts, and Rashford's similar to that, although this season he's been a bit better. So United needs someone who's going to score goals consistently throughout the season. Absolutely. Harry Kane does that. So, look, it's a difficult one. I think you could probably get away. The only issue is for me is you're looking at Mason Greenwood and you're like, that guy's going to be the next number 9 for years.
You know what I'd say, if you told me you could sell Martial to get any player in the world, someone said in the chat it would be Mbappe. But if you're talking about realistic, or if you're talking about realistic, I would sell Martial to get Jack Grealish. I would.
Where would you play him? Yeah,
I don't care. I'm this vibes guy, fam. I'm taking Greenwood. I'm putting Greenwood up top, bro. I'm putting him up top, putting Rashford on the right and Grealish on the left. Like, listen,
Jimenez. I don't know.
Mate, I loved him before.
But I loved him. I don't think he's gonna.
His injury is mad. But listen, I'm telling you, fam. Grealish, bro, is it?
Grealish is a mad baller. He would suit Manchester United. I've got to agree with that. He's got that swagger and that arrogance about him that we need in the club. And I definitely agree. Actually, now that we kind of mentioned, sort of signings, I'm just going to chuck a couple of people out there. Depay, again, someone who's free at the end of the season. I know I already can tell what you're going to say, KJ. Mike went straight to the mic. I'm just going to chuck 3 names out there, kind of. Right winger, CDM, and centre back. Again, these are all free agents, and I'm pretty sure most of you are going to say no, boys. Whereas Depay being one, so potentially could play right wing. CDM Alaba, again, not his best position. I hear that. And centre back Sergio Ramos. Fucking 3 ages. They gotta chuck it in. Hayden, what do you reckon?
You know what? I've never been high on Memphis Depay. I liked him when he first came in, but when you're looking at 5 million, is it 5 million quid? 5 million euros? Something ridiculous like that. That's what's been said. They're saying France have got a lot of problems, obviously. Yeah. I think if United are going to look for someone at cut price option and they're looking to invest elsewhere, I think then it's a bit of a no-brainer. He can probably play number 9 as well. He plays that quite well, actually. He plays that more traditionally than Martial does, dare I say it. But looking at Alaba, 100%. Look, the thing about Alaba is he's a rare player because he can play left back at a world-class level. He can play centre back at a really high level, and he can play in defensive midfield as well. I think he's the one player I think United, if they go out and get, which let's say they got him in January because they want to sell him and he's not signed a new contract, he's that one player who will take United to the next level. I genuinely believe that. I think he's that good. Whether we get him, I don't think we will. What can we offer apart from money? And that sounds a bit harsh, but I think that's the reality of it. Sergio Ramos, I love his leadership, but can you imagine him and Maguire as a centre-back partnership? Not for me. I think United need to go and build for the future. You got to go and get Upamecano or maybe Pau Torres or Konate or someone like that. Someone who's got a bit of pace. I'm not the biggest Bailly fan. If I'm honest with you, I think he plays well, but he's going to get injured. He's going to get injured in 10 to 15 games.
Listen, don't worry about that. Just watch him play and laugh.
Yeah, I love it.
Laugh, just have a good time with Bailly, fam. That's all it is.
Vibes FC, mate.
I'm telling you, Eric Bailly is the most vibes defender you'll ever see in your life. I don't know what world he's in.
That heel to Pogba just made crap me up, man. What is this? That's bad boy, man. Man just got vintage.
Like,
when you kick the Charleston in the face.
Wait, listen, name me a defender who would do that. No one else is doing that by him. I wanted to stay forever. I want Bailly forever, fam, until he retires. But Ramos is a no for me as well. I don't think it's the greatest move. I feel like he'll just literally. You think Paul Pogba was a virus and causes a madness in the dressing room. Ramos, Ramos is a madman. I'm all right. Alaba, yes. Yeah. Yes. For DM Alaba, cool. Yeah. Left back Alaba, cool. Centre back Alaba, no.
He'd get destroyed in the Premier League.
I listen to Bayern Munich fans. Not these man who play him on FIFA and he's good at centre back. Bayern Munich fans, they don't say though. Listen, him at centre back ain't it. DM Alaba, I'm here for it. Memphis Depay, bring him back, fam. Bring him back. 5 million or for free.
This is what I hate.
Bring him back.
I'm surprised he said no for 5 million, but we haven't got right winger at moment.
Nah, at that price, 100%, man. You got to. But like,
listen, let's just throw this out here, right? I'm just playing devil's advocate. Right, the Sergio Ramos one. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted him only because it's Ramos. I hear Cage is thinking with his head, and I'm thinking my heart in it. After Salah, for me, I love the guy. Like, what a legend! Like, that's world class talent right there. But I would just love to see him in the Premier League. You see him with Thiago, obviously Silva coming in. He's just been a breath of fresh air, man. Leadership, gave the captain's armband. Yeah, you can say.
But he's got. If we had like
together, but fuck Maguire.
No, that's what I was gonna say. If you got rid of Maguire,
if he said Maguire, Ramos buy. Oh my. Ramos buy, blood.
Buy Ramos, KJ. Don't tell me that's not madness.
No, yes, I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
And when you play 3 at the back, fuck sure. Rojo's there.
Yes. Listen. I've already said my dream back three for United is Mengi, Tuanzebe, Bailly, fam. That back three would be amazing to see.
Shit,
but if you're saying Ramos, Ramos and Bailly, give me two red cards and I'll be happy, fam.
But listen, Ramos' goal threat as well. Unlike Maguire, he's pissing me off. Is he going to score
Maguire no goal threat.
Every time we get a goal on the watch, I'm going like, Maguire, just get a Maguire score, man, please. Like, man goes to England and buys the flipping first week and then comes back to the car and win a header. But listen, let's just come on to the Depay one. Like, I've always been a fan of Depay. He's done brilliant things at Lyon. But for 5 million to get someone of his talent in January, even if it's like, listen, you're gonna have to fight for your place. You know what the talent we've got. Look, first time round he didn't fight for his place. He left. It didn't work out for him. But for 5 million, and even in Alaba, I know Alaba's free in summer, but forget the summer. Bayern Munich would take any money for him right now. I'd buy him right now for him in CDM.
Well, listen, wait, people are saying Memphis. We're forgetting also. This is now what? Oh, this not even 5 M's. This is now an older, experienced, mature Memphis.
As well. Man's dropped some music. He's got the touch.
Well, listen, this is now a mature Memphis. He's even come out and said that it was too early for him mentally and in maturity for him.
All the time, man.
He's ready. He's ready now.
Also, look who the manager was. LVG. Imagine being an attacker in that.
Well, imagine being LVG. Imagine being Depay. Your country manager raves about you, loves you, plays you in the World Cup. You finished third with him, and then he buys you for the club that he's about to go to. You're like, okay, yes. Back with LVG, let's go. And then he just does you over. It's a shock. I'm all
Robinson Jones. There's another one for you, KJ. Someone had to ruin it, didn't they? So Akil had to ruin it.
I was having fun. And man mentioned Phil Jones, bro.
He ain't Vibes FC.
Yeah, he ain't Vibes FC.
Big boost and all that, man. But listen, for me, Depay, look, end of the day, it's another option off the bench. We've spoken about competition. And we mentioned the Martial one. If he doesn't want to be here because of competition, then the door's there, my brother. I'll take Depay over Martial. It is what it is, life goes on. And even Depay flops for 5 million. We can easily get 20 or 25 back off him. I'm not thinking like a businessman, but it's a win-win.
Wait, listen, I'd rather Depay coming off the bench, than Dan James, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, he's got flair about.
Look at the squad. Well, this is what I mean. Look at the squad we could build, If Usmaan didn't care about, but he's been here before, but now forget about that. Just take what we can get now, fam, and bring him back.
Better in the league. Come on, 21.
Bring him back.
I don't give a shit. Listen, everyone's going to say, it's short-termism with Alaba. It's not with him. But in terms of the way I'm looking at this window in January, I do not care anything to stop Liverpool winning back-to-back.
Yeah, mate, because no one else is going to stop them.
No one's going to win it. Man City, even if Man City wins, that's not really...
It's on us to stop them getting 21. We've got to get 21.
Exactly.
So,
it's not positive. It's not positive for us if Man City win because it's a lesser of two evils, isn't it? The end of the day, like for me personally, of course, we need signings. We're not as far as people think. This Liverpool team, they're probably going to win 6-0 now against Newcastle. As I'm saying this, but they're nothing special. I actually tweeted that they won 7 against Palace, and people are still tweeting and shit right now. Look at this guy, knows nothing. But listen, I'm going to wrap up. As I mentioned, Liverpool are just about playing Newcastle. It's been an absolute pleasure having you both on. As always, make sure you show love to our guests on their socials. KJ, where can they find you, brother?
At elite_KJ on Twitter, and also find me on the Football Terrace on YouTube, where you find most of my football content. And I have my show that is on Wednesday, so tonight, and on Sunday nights at 12 a.m. I have my show. Midnight Vibes, you know what I mean? Vibes are in the name, you know what I'm saying? So, Midnight Vibes, where we talk everything, Premier League, everything happening in the midweek football games, and we just have a good time. Literally, we just vibe out, have a good time. That's all it's about, it's just having fun. So, and then also follow and subscribe to the Football Terrace Clips channel as well, where you find the best moments from the Football Terrace.
Yes, real talk. And also, the homie Hader, where can they find you, brother?
You can see at Hader_Rabani. And then, Elite Football Show. We've got the masterclass live after every game. It's a tactics show. I do that with Rob Blanchett, which is a little bit different, but quite in depth. So if you want to ever catch that, then definitely come down. And just guys, make sure you subscribe and get Usmaan to 1K because he deserves it and he's doing some great stuff.
I appreciate that. And listen, I'm going to be very biased in saying this, but Hader's podcast with Rob is the best. A Man United podcast.
Love it.
Hader knows I love it. But listen, I've been trying to get the clipboard up and everything, but I don't have a clue what's going on in that. But listen, Hader, much love for you, and obviously KJ for coming on. Although I've said your name wrong for about 90 times in the video, we'll let you know that's happened. Make sure you drop like, subscribe to the channel, show them love. We'll be back. I don't even know when. Probably tomorrow. Make sure Newcastle don't bottle it. Come on, Newcastle, you pricks. Come on.